What's it called? You're going to hate classic. I did. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's see what this is. You're gonna hate classic WoW. I sure did. Who's this guy? Brandon Rogers. Look at that hair, man. Why does every YouTuber have good hair? It's a good thing I moved over to Twitch. All right, let's take a look at this.
It sucked.
Okay, here I want to make sure we get this this intro here. Look at these figurines. He's got a little link to the past. That's what is that, like gay Ganondorf? I don't even know what the hell that is. The Millennium Falcon over there. Okay. All right. Let's go.
It sucked.
It sucked. Okay.
I made a mistake recently, and I resubscribed to World of Warcraft.
Okay.
I saw the news about the expansion coming out, Battle for Azeroth, and I kind of got caught up in the hype. I wanted to come back and see what the game looked like after
like 2 months ago.
a few years. I haven't played since Mists of Pandaria,
Okay.
but I've been playing on and off ever since the very beginning of the game, even technically before, because I played in the open beta as a dwarf mage, I remember. My first character was a level 60 paladin.
Could they be
and
mages back then?
I'd like to call back to my experience of classic World of Warcraft.
Okay.
To, I guess, warn people, or to remind those people who had experienced the game before, that I don't think people are going to take to classic World of Warcraft the way some people think they will.
Ooh, okay.
We need to remember that
A different opinion.
World of Warcraft is 15 years old at this point. I discovered, this was unrelated to me resubscribing, but after I got back into the game, I discovered that there would be some demo servers up for BlizzCon.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I think in 2019, classic World of Warcraft will be making a comeback, which
That's
is
true.
very interesting to me, and I think may very well be the first case of a HD remake of an MMORPG. But a 15-year-old game will show its age, just as I am. I am just turned 29 years old.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That means I was 14 or 15 when I first started playing the World of Warcraft.
All right.
And I think some of the reasons that people will perhaps hate Classic as much as I do, while I remember it fondly, I think I hate it. I think I hated it because, first of all, the leveling takes too freaking long.
Too freaking long.
I remember
Too freaking long.
when I had time. I don't have time anymore. I'm 29 years old, and even though I'm not married,
Yeah, you
I don't
do.
have a family,
How you get the figurines?
I do have a job.
How you
So
make
I
the
have
Gundam
at most maybe 1 or 2 hours a day
to make
sink
figurines?
into games, period.
Okay.
And if I'm playing World of Warcraft, that means that's pretty much the only thing that I'm playing. And it's a banner day if I can play it for 2 hours. And what's great playing
What do you
modern
do?
World of Warcraft, and I guess we're in patch 8.1 or whatever, is that you can level pretty quickly. Actually, just before making dinner in the precious hour that I had after work, I was able to level up from 35 to 37 on my warrior. Go back in time 15 years. Let's time walk back 15 years. And you can maybe level up 35 to 36 in what? Maybe like an evening when all you do is play World of Warcraft for like 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah,
As I
yeah.
could have done
Yeah.
back in high school, back when I had no obligations, back when I could just come home at 3 o'clock and do whatever I wanted
Those were the
because I was a
days.
kid. Remember that World of Warcraft saw its biggest expansion and its biggest numbers from Classic all the way through Wrath of the Lich King.
That's true.
That was when I was about 15 to 20 years old, when I was still in
Okay.
school and I didn't really have a job, you know, during the semesters. That means I had so much time
Yeah.
that I could use to play World of Warcraft
Quit pausing.
and still have other hobbies. I could still watch TV. I could still watch movies. But now,
How is watching
my
TV a
leisure
hobby?
time means that I have to pit World of Warcraft against, painting miniatures or reading a book.
I told you.
God forbid I actually learn something instead of whacking away at gnolls for an hour a day.
Yeah.
And we also need to think about what happened when you got to the end game.
Okay.
I was a level 60 paladin.
Yep.
I was raiding Skullomance. I was going into Stratholme. I
This
was
guy
raiding
reads
the
books.
Burrs, both L and U. Eventually, I joined a guild, and maybe once in a while, we could get it together enough to go into Molten Core on a Saturday evening.
All right.
I think I played that paladin for a good 3 or 4 months at level 60.
That's
And
good.
I did not get a single tier 0.5. I'm not even talking tier 1. I barely rated back in the day. I had no
probably for the
aspirations to
best.
get tier 1. But tier 0.5, the blues, the best blues you could get at level 60. I think it was Lightforge. Maybe. I can't remember
Soulforge.
exactly.
Actually.
I did not get a single blue for my paladin after playing for months
Casuals.
at the maximum level. I don't know what I was doing wrong. Maybe I just wasn't
Probably
doing
a lot.
anything right. I thought I was okay. We did all right. We didn't wipe too often. But the gear, it just wouldn't drop. Because remember, bosses would only drop like, a
Two or
couple
three
pieces of
pieces, yeah.
gear.
That's right.
And if it dropped a priest Spalders, and there wasn't
Spalders.
even a priest in the group.
Yeah.
Well,
You should have brought a priest.
I guess someone's got to make use of it. It's not going to be me, not as a paladin. So the gear was an issue. But now, the gear's great. I haven't gotten to the end game content yet. But even
Okay.
in Wrath of the Lich King, getting gear was so fun. It was so cool. Even if the bosses didn't drop the items that you wanted, you could at least get the tokens. You could do the daily quests.
True.
You could
True.
build up
True.
currency
True.
and then buy the gear that you needed.
I wish.
I remember playing a druid. I got a druid
sounds
to
like a great
level
idea.
80 or whatever the Wrath
That's a great
max
idea.
was. And I was able to gear out my druid. I even think I got 2 sets for my druid.
Wow.
So that I could do, the 2 different specializations. I could heal and I could do DPS.
Okay.
But even the shaman that I rolled, the level 60 shaman that I played for a few months, I was able to at best get 2 tier 0.5 blues after raiding for those months. And they weren't even 40-man raids. That was 15-man raids. You think people could gear up fast that way back in the day? No. They could not.
Okay.
So time and gear.
Yes.
My time now is scarce, and 15 years ago, the gear was scarce.
Yeah.
Now, the last warning I want to issue to those of you who will go and play Classic WoW when it releases next year, whenever it does, is I think you need to keep your expectations in check in terms of, I guess you could say, community.
That's
Now,
true.
you have to remember back
Yeah, that is true.
in the year 2004,
Yes, that was a year.
we actually had to look around for people, not via the looking for group or the looking for raid, I guess you could say technology that they've developed over the last few
Yes.
years.
The bad
But
stuff.
you had to type in chat. You had to join a guild. You had to actually talk to people. Now, I do feel that that sense of community is lost in the
on.
current game. You join a dungeon
Yeah.
group, and you're all kind of
is
just
true.
walking together
Yeah.
towards the end, but you're not really coordinating. Hopefully you've got a competent tank. I'm a warrior, and I still don't know how to tank. But hopefully your healer knows what they're doing. Hopefully your
Okay.
DPS can, get in a few hits
What
now
are-
and then.
All these dramatic
And all
pauses.
together, you're not exactly coordinating, but you're just kind of running in the same direction and hoping you make it to the end.
You're all one direction.
Whereas back then,
It's his favorite band.
You had to steal tanks from other guilds. You had to steal healers
Yeah.
from other guilds. You had to hope to God
Yeah.
that someone was actually reading the general chat in Stormwind or wherever.
That's right.
You were looking for people. You actually
That
had to
is fucking
coordinate your
right.
groups so that you could make it to the instance entrance.
Yeah.
You don't got to do that anymore.
No, you don't have to.
It behooved you to enter a guild.
What?
So that you had a much easier time of forming these parties.
To make
To
friends.
do quests. To go into instances. To go into battlegrounds. And you made a lot of friends along the way. I did. I was a part of a couple guilds. One, when I first started out on my Alliance
I
Human
love the way
Paladin.
he talks.
We were the Angels of a Vengeance. And
I like how he says it with
we
a
were a
smile.
merry band of warriors. We got into TeamSpeak. Remember TeamSpeak? There was no Discord back then. It was TeamSpeak.
Yeah,
You
I
hope
did
to
that
God
too.
that someone was paying the like $5 a month so you could host more than 5 people in a server.
Ours got shut down because we didn't.
I talked to a lot of people back then. I didn't really have a lot of friends at school, so I made internet friends.
What a surprise.
Who I never met in real life, but
Yeah,
I spent a lot of time talking to on those TeamSpeak or Ventrilo servers.
I did too.
Even in Wrath of the Lich King, where I was in college, I had more friends. I had a very tight-knit group of friends, but I was the only one who played World of Warcraft. But I made a
What a
couple of
nerd.
internet friends who I unfortunately don't talk to anymore. But I had people that I could rely on to go out and form parties.
Yeah.
And it was fun getting to know them and hearing the stories of, of their life and
I
where
thought
they
this
lived.
is why not to play Classic WoW.
You don't really get that much now.
No, you
Now,
don't.
honestly, I need to warn you, when you look back with those nostalgic feelings to the times 15 years ago,
Okay.
you're probably not going to get that again, for one reason or another.
Okay.
First of all, the friends you had 15 years ago, unless you're extremely lucky, aren't going to be there. Your guilds from 2004, 2005 aren't coming back.
Actually, my guild might. Yeah.
And
We'll see what happens.
unless Classic holds, unless there's enough people to satisfy that demand and keep those servers full, I think people are going to have a hard time. Sorry. Someone just pulled up outside, and because of my paper-thin walls, I'm just hearing some J-pop as I'm talking about the nostalgic times of old. And so I want to warn everyone watching this video and thinking about playing Classic.
How could he identify
played
it's
Classic
J-pop
before-
instead of K-pop?
Remember how much it
Think
sucked.
about that.
And if you're going to get into Classic because you have never experienced it, you've been warned.
Is it really that funny?
I've been Jay Contra. Thanks for watching. See you next time, and mahalo. See you next.
So this guy posts on Reddit. Like, let's just get that out of the way right now. Like, he really posts a lot on Reddit. Now, here's basically, like, how I feel, okay? I don't really... Like, I think it's important that he's going to give his opinion, right? Because everybody is, like, really on the, super, positive towards Classic, and sitting there and saying, like, negative things about it. I mean, you've got to expect Paul McConnell. All right, dude, you know what? I'll let him say it, okay? Yeah, I'll let McConnell say it right now. Just give me a second. Let me get in here. Yo, what up?
Test. Is it too loud, boys?
It should be just fine.
Dude, what is this guy, like, talking about?